uploading Excel file or manually inputting data. We'll be generating interactive 2D and 3D graphs, as well as we'll get AI powered insights based on the uploaded data. Now, assume you have provided some data in the Excel file in our website that we'll be developing. Got it? And the AI, what it will do is that it will provide you with some of the insights, such as the trend analysis of the data that we have provided to the website, as well as it will also provide us with the update that is gradually being updated on the website, isn't it? And then we'll get a lot of things from the AI that we are able to see on the basis of the data being provided over there. So we'll use the tech stacks, that is for the front end, we will use React.js, Redux Toolkit, the Tailwind CSS, App.js, as well as 3.js. So yesterday, some of you were asking about which one is better between Tailwind CSS and Bootstrap CSS. Who was asking about it?
I am.
Yeah, Aditya. So did you find any difference between them? Did you made any research? So let me tell you, when it comes to the bootstraps, the bootstrap comes with pre-designed UI components, and the Tailwind CSS uses utility classes for styling. Got it? And as all of us know, each and every technology has its own pros and cons. So if we talk about the cons of the bootstrap, then we will find that bootstrap is less flexible compared to the Tailwind CSS, because all the codes in bootstrap are already written, whereas in Tailwind CSS, the pro is that uh, it has faster styling without writing additional CSS. Got it? And if we talk about the cons of Tailwind CSS, so Tailwind CSS is smaller final CSS file. So it depends upon our requirement, upon which we have to select the technology that we are using for our styling. Got it?
Ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now, in the backend, we are having Node.js, Express.js, as well as for the database, we are having MongoDB. And for authentication, we are having JWT as well as OAuth. So, does anybody have any idea about the JWT, what it does?
Yes, ma'am. To verify the token.
Exactly. So when we are logging into a web page, and while developing the backend, we will see, for in the next class only we will see, if we want the login of the user, then using JWT, a token will be generated. And for that token, we have to place it using the bearer option in our Postman. We will see all of those things in our next class. Till now, for now, you just have to remember that JWT is used for validating or generating tokens. Got it? Guys, please be responsive.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
And
Got it.
nowadays we can see that in several websites we get the option of Google login, where we use our mail ID and we simply log into that website using our Google account. So that function is done by the OAuth. That is the another way of authentication that we provide to the websites. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
And now,
This is open
coming,
authorization, no?
yeah. And for the real time, we are using socket.io, as well as for AI module, we will be using Python or Python's Fast API or AI Insights. And for deployment, we'll use Vercel for the front end as well as AWS for the back end. So these are some of the features and functionality that our websites are having. So at first, as all of us know, that in order to access the elements of a website, what is the first thing that we have to do is that we have to provide our credentials to that website. and sign in or sign up in that website. This is the first functionality. As well as in our website, what we will do, we will provide an Excel file, because it is a data visualization website, right? We will visualize the data, and also we will analyze the data. So in order to do all those things, we required a large set of data. Let it be any Excel file or any manual data entry in the forms or in dynamic forms to input the data. You people getting my point, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So after providing our data, the AI will generate graph. So AI will generate graphs, as well as we can use chart.js, d3.js in order to create 2D graphs, as well as we will use 3.js in order to create 3D graphs. And I will be explaining you people the role of socket.io in order to provide the real time changes being visible on our website. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
We'll having a dashboard as well as an admin panel. So in admin panel, as we did yesterday, we'll manage the user as well as data that we did in the previous class. How to manage the users?
User authentication based on the role.
Exactly, based on the role, we will create the user, read the user, update the user, as well as we will delete the user.
Using authorization middleware.
Yeah. So what middleware did we use in the previous class?
Express.js.
Express.js as well as course. We use course, right?
Course.
Can anybody tell me what did course had to do with the with that thing that we used in the previous class? I explained it to you in the Aditya, you tell me.
When the data can come from back end to front end, then some errors will occur. No? To adjust that, we use a cursor.
Can you repeat?
When we take an API call from back end to front end, it gives some some errors, no, Axios errors.
Yes, basically what the course does is that when we provide a request from one domain to another domain, then the course headers are verified from the browser, because the browser allows some of the domain to send the requests, as well as the browser blocks some of the domain to send the requests. So when we send request from one domain to another domain, then the browser will verify whether it has allowed that domain to pass the request or not. So this is what the course has to play, and that is why it is named as cross-origin resource sharing. Are you clear now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. And for database, as all of us know, that we have also worked with MongoDB, right? How many of you know about entity relationship diagram? Okay. So let me explain for rest of the people that who do not know about the entity relationship diagram. While working with the SQL, we have seen that we might come across several tables, right? So the tables are the real world entities. We can also say the student table, the employee table, and all those things. So the entities are the real world things that we have got it, upon which our table is based. So that is the entity. And we have some attributes. Attributes are the properties of those entities. Like if we have the student table, as student is the entity, so what we have as its attribute, we are having like the student's email address, the student's marks, the student's age, the student's phone number, etc. things as its attributes. And we are having multiple types of attributes. We will have key attribute, which is always unique. Like the student's roll number can also be unique key attribute. Got it? We will also have multiple attributes. Can somebody provide me, those who know about the entity relationship diagram, what are multiple attributes? Anyone?
Attributes having multiple values.
Exactly, we can assign multiple values to it. For example, a person can have more than one phone number, right? So those come under the category of multiple attributes. And we also have derived attributes in our entity relationship table. So who can tell me what are the derived attributes? What does the name suggest?
Like date of birth.
Exactly. From the date of birth, we can derive what? The age of the person, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So that's why those things are called derived attributes. And similarly, we do have many other attributes in our entity relationship diagram. Now coming on to the relationship, we have 4 kind of relationships, which provides how one entity is dependent upon another entity. So there are 2 types of entity, right? A weak entity as well as a strong entity. So they are dependent on each other, and the relationship will tell us how they are dependent on each other. So the 4 relationships are one-to-one, one-to-many, many-to-many, as well as many-to-one relationship. All of you are clear up till now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So the API endpoints. What API endpoint did we had in the previous class? Can anyone say?
Get, post.
Yes,
//
they
ID.
are the API endpoints. As I have already told you people in the previous class that we do need to mention some of the API endpoints while writing the API. Now let's begin with what are the APIs, right? Who can tell me the full form of API?
Application programming interface.
Application program interface.
Application programming interface. And how does it function? Okay, let me explain you. So
it communicates with the front end through JSON
can you please
through
repeat?
JSON methods. It communicates with the front end through this JSON
Yeah,
protocol.
exactly. So API is a bridge, you can also say. It acts as a bridge that allows different software systems to communicate with each other. Got it? See, we have different types of APIs. So the REST API is very famous, right? So you people might be knowing the full form of REST API. That is Representational State Transfer API. This just yesterday we worked with it, right? We used what methods? Get, post, put, delete, and all those methods. We have worked with them in the previous class now.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
those are called the HTTP
Yes.
methods. So those APIs are called representational state transfer API. So all those APIs are stateless. What do you mean by stateless over here? See, if we make a request from for one time, each request is independent of another request. Like we do not have to provide one request and then it removes all the data that we have provided, and we have to provide the renewed data, right? It stores the already provided data in its server, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So the REST API uses JSON or XML for data exchange. For another API, what we are having? We are having the WebSocket API. So now let me explain you people what is the WebSocket API. Got it? So WebSocket API, when we use it, whenever we have to provide the user with real-time data, over there we use WebSocket API. Suppose when the user uploads or modifies data, then the backend detects changes. Understood? Then what the backend does? The backend emits updates to connected clients, and then the front end listens for updates, and then finally the dynamically updated graphs are shown to the users. Can somebody tell me what possible problems can be caused if we do not have WebSockets?
If we do not have WebSockets, it won't be possible to communicate in a live chat.
Exactly. We basically what the WebSocket does is it provides the user with the real-time data. Suppose if we do not have WebSockets, the traditional HTTP requests, what do? Is that they follow a request response model. All of you, I guess, may be familiar with the request response model, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So, please mute your mic, dear. The client must request data manually, right? In when we were using HTTP requests. If the new data is available, then the client has no way of knowing unless it repeatedly polls the server. So in order to get the renewed data, what we have to do, we continuously need to refresh the page, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So suppose you are watching the test match, and we people often see the scores of the matches on Google, right? Do we have to refresh the page ever in order to get the update scores? We do not have to do it, na? So that's what we call real-time data availablement to the users. So this is what WebSocket has a role to play. In order to in order to in order to prevent the delays and increase server load due to repeated API calls, the new technologies, that is WebSocket, has been introduced. So what do? Is that the WebSocket enable bidirectional and persistent communication between the client as well as the server. Once a connection is established, and then the server pushes updates to the client instantly. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yeah. So in order to use the WebSockets, we have a library called socket.io in our JavaScript, in our Node.js, which helps us to provide the real-time data to our users. Let's see what do we have next. So in the graph generation, we are coming. Hello. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay, I thought I got disconnected.
No, no.
Any questions that you people have?
So, do we have an assessment for this week for the first part of the project?
Can you please repeat?
Yeah, you said we have some exercise to for the end of the week, right?
Yes, we do have some tasks that, if I teach you something or some topics, we'll provide you with the projects based upon it. But that's not your capstone project. Those are the mini projects for you to practice all those things that you require in the capstone project to add. I guess I have cleared your doubt.
Yeah.
All right.
So every week we will have some mini project to do, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Ma'am, can you please take a class on MongoDB on how to use and connect our project? I told you to connect our project in the previous class, I guess, Simran.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. No issues. I'll be explaining you people again. Once I consult with the team, I'll do it. Any further questions?
When will be the next session? Because I wasn't aware that today we will have a session. I told the last session for the last week was Monday, yesterday. Am I audible? Do you
I'm
hear
sorry,
me?
Saman, because my network was a little bit unstable. Can you please repeat your question?
Yeah, I was asking that the we yesterday on Monday we had the last session of the next week, and I'm surprised to see that today we are having another session.
See, today's session is just to guide you people through the capstone project. Like, what all requirements do we have in our projects that we need to fulfill based upon the tech stacks. But on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday classes, we will do the actual learning. Got it? We'll do the actual codings and develop the APIs.
Okay, yeah, it's clear now. Thank ma'am.
Yeah. So Simran, the most prior thing that you have to do in order to connect the MongoDB with the JavaScript is that you just have to get the URL, Mongo URL. Got it? And there are many videos present in the YouTube that will teach you how to get the URL from the MongoDB. Once you log into the website, and then automatically you will be able to get and generate your MongoDB URL. Just paste it in your code and provide and in whichever variable you are storing your MongoDB URL, just pass that variable with inside the connect function. Just go through the document that I have provided to the team. Over there, I have shared one code which will help you people to understand how to connect the MongoDB with the Node.js.
We can use the MUI library React components.
Yes, we can use it.
It is easier than both Bootstrap and Tailwind CSS.
Yeah. Yes, someone you can push your projects on GitHub, and in fact, it is a good practice to push your mini projects in the GitHub. Because if by any chance you lost all of your codes that you were having in your Visual Studio Code, and if you have pushed them in your GitHub profile, then also you can access your codes and all those files, because you do have do have them in your GitHub account. So it's a good practice to push your projects.
Okay.
And please, while obtaining your MongoDB URL, just remember two things. That is your username that you have provided to your MongoDB, as well as your password, and do not share it to anyone. And use it while you use it in your project. See, we will connect our Merge project with our Python. We are having a different session on how to connect Python with Node.js in order to integrate AI for it. We have to use a lot of coding over there, which I'll be teaching you people in the next class.
Okay. So for the Mongo string, the username and password are supposed to be pasted in the same string, right? In the Mongo string, what we get.
Yeah, within the same string. See, whenever you will obtain the Mongo string, there they will provide within the Angular brackets, that is your username as well as the password. Just remove that username and password with Angular bracket, and paste your username as well as password in the place of that.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Ma'am, I have another question. So we are doing mini projects. So at the end of the internship, we'll be able to build the whole project in our own.
At the end of the internship, what?
At the end of the internship, we will be able to build the whole project on our own.
See, it completely depends upon how much you practice coding. Got it? If your logic is clear and you are very excellent in building logics for whatever functionalities you want to add in your website, then for sure you will be able to make your own websites or make your own projects.
Ma'am,
Okay,
one
thanks.
more thing.
I was talking about the project we are working on the internship.
Can you please repeat?
Yeah, I was talking about the project we are building on the in the internship. So at the end
Yeah,
of the
that
internship, yeah,
project you have to make it on your own, na?
Okay, good. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am,
We
what
will
are the
provide you
practices?
with.
Sorry
Yeah,
for the
Ashraf, say.
interruption.
Yeah,
What
say.
are the practices should I do for the logic building? And so let's say after the internship, I have to apply for some companies. So they ask, logical questions like array manipulation and all those things in for the JavaScript and all. So what should I practice and do for those part?
Just be regular and consistent with practicing coding. In see, we have many platforms like Lead Code, Hacker Rank. Over there we get number of our problem statements where we can apply our logic. Based on our logic, we have to write the code, and you can write the code in any language: C++, Java, Python. And I will recommend you people to do all those things in like if you are doing DSA, then I will recommend, then you should write the codes in C++ or in Java.
So for Java, for DSA, JavaScript is not good, you are saying?
Can you please repeat your question?
Yeah, sorry. I'm just trying to clarify. Is JavaScript DSA? If I have to start DSA and things, so can I start with JavaScript?
Yeah, you can start with the JavaScript as well. But you know what? If you start your DSA with Python, there are no such major issues. But Python has many inbuilt libraries and many built-in methods, which will prevent you from building the logic.
Got it. My only question is JavaScript enough for DSA, or do we need to jump into other, like you have mentioned Python and all? So
Yeah,
I mean,
just C++, Java or JavaScript is enough for any one of the languages is enough for writing the codes of DSA.
okay, got it. Thank you.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, all the students are make just the same project, which provided by mail.
Yeah, like you people have been shared by only one project requirement document. So all of you people must be working on that project only, because that project is based upon whatever things you are learning in this course, right?
It's with partition, or we build whole project
You have to build the whole project.
by group wise.
Not in group, you have to build the project separately, individually.
We are getting in group, ma'am.
So if people are getting the groups, then you have to make the projects in groups.
The Infotech team provide as a group.
Yeah, they will be providing you.
Yes, that's my question. We are all doing the same project with same UI UX.
Just for team and all those things, just contact the team, because I don't have any idea about how they have divided you people on the basis on
That
what
you
basis.
provide us a UI user interface.
No, I will not be providing. I will just train you people with all those codes and all the necessary things that you have been provided in your roadmap and all the tech stacks.
Okay. How we will started the project, right?
So in order to build the projects, just go through many of the projects that you have on the internet and take ideas from there, that
Yeah,
what
I just
features can
look
you
like
add.
Tabula and other website like Google Docker
Yeah,
and all. Yeah, yeah.
take references from other projects, but do not just copy paste it. Take reference and build it on your own. Otherwise, people are there to detect plagiarism.
No, no, no.
Yeah.
So
So, ma'am, when
the
will be
teammate
there? Is there any valuation?
Someone, what were you trying to say?
so the teammate are here to help us to be motivated.
I didn't
If
understand, dear. Please repeat.
if we are not working, if we are not doing the project together, so the teammates are there to help us maintain motivation or to do some research together.
I In order to provide you with the motivation, I'm not capable enough to provide the motivation over here. But what I can do is just I can teach you people whatever things we require, and rest of the things you have to do it on your own.
No, I was talking about the role of a team member. If we have to do a project on our own,
Like,
so
are you trying to say?
we are not
Are
working
you trying,
with teammates. We are just working on our own.
so you want to make the project on your own without working with the team, right?
No, it is what I understood. You said the project we should do it individually, right?
No, you have to. You have been assigned your teams, right? As one of your
Yes.
batchmates have said. So you have to develop the projects with your team only.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, man.
Hello, ma'am. We have to compulsory to learn DSA for getting a job.
See, this question is still inside many people's mind. You have to do DSA as well as development simultaneously. All right. In order to keep in touch with the concepts of DSA, you have to practice it regularly. And if you provide it a leap of 2 to 3 days as well, then you will forget all those things that you have studied. Because DSA has many concepts like linked lists, arrays, and many other things, graphs, trees. So you have to be thorough with it. I would suggest
Okay, ma'am.
you shouldn't take a leap while you are learning
Double
DSA.
linked list.
Did you people ever use the set time, set timeout, or set interval kind of functions in the JavaScript?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
And did
ma'am.
you ever apply it in any of your projects?
Yes.
Yes.
Where did you apply? One after another, you say. Where did you apply it?
In getting the alert message after entering the data that is asked in the form.
Yeah, and did you made any website? And you used set time interval for performing any kind, adding any kind of feature to it?
For API call.
Okay. So let me provide you with an example. Got it? Suppose you are developing a food delivery website. All right. And I want my website to have a banner in its head, banner inside it, where I want to display many of the pictures one after the other, just like the carousel option that we have in our Bootstrap. But what is the thing that differentiate the carousel from the set time interval is that many of you might have seen we do have arrows in the left as well as right in the Bootstrap carousel, right? You might have seen it.
Yes, ma'am.
So what I want is that I don't want to press all those arrow buttons and get the pictures one after the other. I just want to slide the pictures automatically. So what I will do over there is I will paste all the image links that I want to display in my website. I will paste all of the image links and I will write a function and traverse all the image, storing them inside an array, and traverse all the array elements. And here the array elements are my images, and I will set that set time interval option as 3 seconds. And this is how I will display my images on the banner after 3 seconds, you by setting the images link in within the array. Now tell me how many of you got my point, what I'm trying to say.
Got it, ma'am.
All right. So let me provide you with how much of project do we need to complete in our first month, second month, as well as third months. See, for the month 1, we will just do the fundamentals and basic development. Our goal will be setting up the Monstack authentication and API integration that we have done till yesterday or day before yesterday. Yes. In the previous week, what did we learn? We learned about the Monstack setup. We have also learned the RESTful APIs as well as MongoDB connection, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
And for the second week, I have told you that we people will working with the JWT as well as OAuth.
Yes, ma'am. JSON Web Tokens.
Yeah. And for the third and fourth week, we will learn the React basics as well as API integration. And we will also learn about the UI development for login registration, as well as one exciting thing that I love the most is making the user dashboard. This is all that we have to do for the first month.
Okay, ma'am.
And for the second month,
Okay.
all that we have to do is we have to work with handling the data, as well as we will implement the AI. We will have uploading the Excel using Multer. Can somebody tell me how can we use Multer in our website? Suppose I am providing you a situation again, like I am making a food delivery website, but this time I am the admin of the website. Like I have a restaurant, I am making the website for my restaurant. Got it? And I have to upload my the images of my food items provided in my restaurant in my website. So for that thing, what I will use?
Cloudinary and Mulder.
Exactly. I can use Cloudinary as well as I can also use Multer. And for the week 6, we have to do as well as we have to work with the graphs. And what did I say for the graphs do we have to use?
Chart
Chart.js.
3JS.
And
Chart.js.
chart.js as well as D3.js is used to build 2D graphs, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And in the week 7, we will have the AI integration, that analysis of the data that we have provided to the website, on the basis of which we will get the trend prediction as well as the anomaly detection. How many of you are familiar with the word anomaly? Yes, Himanshu, please speak. What do you mean by anomaly? So by anomaly, we mean that what updates of the data that we are able to see in the provided Excel file, the AI will provide us with it. Got it? This is what we call the insights that we are getting from the provided data set through the AI. And for the month 3, the last things that we have is on the week 9, that we will get the real-time updates with WebSockets. As I just explained you people little time before, what we will use for WebSockets, which library do we have to use?
Socket.io.
Exactly, we will use Socket.io. For the week 10, 11, and 12, we have to develop an admin panel. See, I told you now I am an admin. The website can be operated on the basis of the user's designation. If the user is the end user who is using the website, or the user is himself is the admin of that website who has the control on what things to be displayed on his website. So there are a couple of ways through which a user can use the website.
Yes, ma'am.
And in the very last, after developing our complete project, the only thing that we are remaining to do is we have to deploy it on our deployment servers like Vercel. We usually deploy our front end in Vercel as well as the back end in AWS.
Can't we deploy backend also in Vercel?
We can deploy it in Vercel as well, but AWS is the basic thing that people use, the cloud engineers use in order to, that is the most preferable thing, the AWS of Amazon as well as the Azure of Microsoft. All those things are recommended cloud tools.
Okay.
Yeah. Any further questions?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, Arun.
Ma'am, for the graphs, we are going to use chart.js, right?
Yeah.
So, ma'am, we are going to take the data from MongoDB. So, can't we use MongoDB Atlas directly to do the charts? Because Atlas already have the live data graphs installed in it, right?
But according to our roadmap, we are required to use chart.js or d3.js in order to develop 2D graphs, and in order to develop 3D graphs, we will use 3.js. See, we have many other alternatives for the technologies. Like if you say we have an alternative for MongoDB, right? We can also use SQL in place of MongoDB. So why aren't we using SQL over here?
Because SQL is a vulnerable to attack.
Yes. So when we will learn chat.js as well as 3.js, we will try to explore many other things that are helpful in developing the charts, developing the bar graphs or pie charts and many other things, which will be helpful for us in comparison to the MongoDB.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Did anybody heard about the GraphQL API? Anyone?
No,
So the GraphQL API is what? It depends upon the WebGL. Got it? It starts by creating the WebGL context from an HTML canvas element. So basically what we do over here is we draw the graphics. Like it leverages the power of GPU to provide high performance graphics. Like you people might be knowing that we have the GPU card in our laptops, right?
yeah,
Venex was trying to say something. Can you repeat, Venex?
yes, ma'am. We have installed GPU card.
So basically, what the GPU does is that it provides with the graphics with our graphics to our website. This is what the GraphQL API does. Though the canvas option in HTML is not in so much in use nowadays, but while working with the GraphQL API, we will require the canvas option provided in the HTML. Are you people familiar with the React hooks?
Ma'am.
Yes,
In what ways are they helpful to us?
view state hook is
To maintain a state,
changing dynamic state of the forms.
to maintain the side effects and state management, cross drilling.
Yes. So we basically have three types of hooks in React, that is use state, use context, as well as use effect. Got it? So React hooks are useful in many different ways in order to manage the states as well as props. We will learn it in further classes. Got it? That the use state will take couple of parameters and all those things we will learn in the next class or coming classes.
Which is better, use reducer or use state? No?
Can you please repeat?
Which hook is better, ma'am? Use state or use reducer?
I will say use state is better because I worked a lot of with use state as well as use effect, and in many projects we use three of them only: use state, use context, as well as use effect.
Okay, ma'am. We need to use Redux toolkit in our project.
Yeah, in fact we are having the Redux toolkit in our tech stack and for this project also.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Tell me most basic thing that we use in many of our projects that is a part of the CSS position properties.
Static, sticky, fixed.
And what is
Relative and
flex in CSS?
absolute.
How is flex helpful to us in CSS? And how do we make our websites responsive using what query?
Media.
Media query.
Yes, exactly, media query. What do we mean by making the websites responsive?
User can allow to laptop site, big screen or small screen or mobile site.
Adjusting the size of for any one desktop.
Exactly. Tell me one thing. If I want my, for example, say I have made my flex container, got it, and I want my elements to align themselves on the basis of the x-axis. So, what property should I write? Should I write justify content or justify items, or should I write align items?
Align items.
Align items.
And for the y-axis, if I want to arrange them.
Justify.
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 All right. That means you people are very clear with the basics of the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript.
Yes, ma'am. No flex grid. And all.
All right. So, and one more question. Can anyone explain me what is the difference between the transition property in the CSS as well as animation property? Like, how is it helpful to us? No idea?
For transition, time period is required.
See, we can provide the transition in the axis or in the y-axis. If we provide the transition property to any of our elements in our web page, for example, if I provide y-axis, got it? And if I hover on that element, then it will move a bit upwards in the y-axis. Getting my point?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And if I applied the animation property in my CSS, then I can what can I do? Well, suppose I am making a banner, and when I provide the animation to it, I have many other options in animations. So I want my banner to appear in front of the user in a dark, not in a dark, but a little vanishingly way. Getting my point? It should come in front of the user, taking a little bit of time. In that case, I will use animation property of CSS.
Delay.
Delay, you check once in your project and then you tell me what does the delay do. Yes, Arun, grid and flexbox is also a property of CSS. Did you people ever come across the term row span as well as call span?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Where did you use it?
Divide columns and rows in 12
And
parts,
table.
6 part on 3 parts.
To
So
merge
where
columns and rows.
exactly to
Is
merge
making a
columns and rows?
timetable.
Yeah. So in which tag we can't mention the row span and call span?
Div.
No. In which tag we can't use the row span and call span? Okay. So we can't use the row span and call span in the TR tag. But in case of the TH and TD tag, we can use the row span as well as call span.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Any further questions that you want me to answer?